Okay, we got something special for the CRABBY coffee shop this week. Kenny he's off being a Jack Pine serial killer, sending all kinds of creepy photos and videos to me of his success, which means if I don't get some of that venison, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Hell to pay.
Yeah, he's going to be hell to pay, Kenny. So Kenny's gone doing his thing in the woods, which he loves to do. And I kind of got on one a little bit. Well, I've had this gripe for a while now. And that is, we give whole months to everybody, right? We've got, Pride Month. We've got Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've got all kinds of, and I'm not even saying you shouldn't have a month dedicated to those things. That ain't the point. The point is, what I've never understood is why we only give our veterans one day. Well, they get November 11th every year, one day for the men and women over the decades and centuries now who have defended this nation, protected our nation, protected our freedoms. They get one day. So when I thought about the show this week, I wanted to do a Veterans Day show with my son. So you got two members of the Kolls family in here, which is going to be an interesting situation in and of itself, because I thought, well, Veterans Day is Tuesday. We do the podcast on a Wednesday, but screw it. Not only should this be Veterans Week, we should have a whole month dedicated to veterans and the service that they have, many of them have given their lives to, and the sacrifices the families make. And I do think it's also important. That's why Taylor's sitting in here today. He joined the Marine Corps after 9/11. We're going to get into all of that. You learn quickly as a parent of someone who's going to go into combat, who joins the military in any fashion. There's a whole bunch of sacrifices that also happen for the family, not nearly as much as the person serving, but families also are affected by it. And another thing that I really thought was important to talk about during what I want to say is Veterans Week. I'm going to give it a whole week. In fact, that's a proclamation. Can we put this down on a Garage Logic proclamation that this is Veterans Week?
Sure.
All right. Thank you. That's you guys, not Reavers, so I don't have to tell you who you're listening to. So Taylor's here because he decided to join the Marine Corps right around right as 9/11 happened, and he was all of 12 years old. And that's where we're going to start.
Yeah.
Boy.
That's a good spot.
We're going to start at the beginning. So you were what, 12?
Yeah.
Taylor Kolls is my son, by the way, joining us. 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were 3 days away from being 12.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And
sixth grade.
Sixth grade, you were 12, and you came to me and said...
I came home.
After
9/11.
Yeah, from school, yeah.
That day. Mm-hmm. And then I told you and Mom
right.
that I wasn't going to college and I was joining the military.
Yeah, 12. You knew exactly what...
I knew right that day. Yeah. So, but I didn't know... So it was all wild how it all happened because it was all within, I made the decision all within seconds that I was joining the military because we didn't know what was going on.
At 12.
At 12.
Yeah.
We didn't know. So if, we were in, I think it was math class. I can't remember, but we were in a class and the teacher another teacher from, the same, down the hall came into our room and told our teacher to turn on the news. There's something going on. You might want to just keep an eye on it. But at that point, we didn't know, right? So he turned on the TV, and the first plane had already hit. Mm-hmm. And even after that, he just kept teaching the class just with the television on in the background. And we just all thought at that time that, an airplane, it was an accident.
Like most of us did.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then... I remember watching the TV screen and watching the second plane come in and hit the second tower live. Like I saw it. And the teacher didn't, and he turned around because everyone kind of was gasping or whatever. And he turned around from the whiteboard, looked, and saw that the second, plane had hit. And immediately he was like, "Oh, a terrorist attack." And I was the first. I raised my hand right away, and I was like, "What's a terrorist? Like, what's a terrorist attack? What are you talking about?" And he went on to, explain to, in his version of what a terrorist was. And, I was
anybody
12
wants to
and
kill
I was,
somebody.
Yeah,
you didn't know.
But, I was naive in so many ways then, too, because he was
you were 12.
Right. But, because you think like everybody loves America then. Right.
Mm-hmm.
because you're walking around, you got all this food, you got all this whatever, right? You have everything, and you always hear about, the good that the United States has done in the history and in the past and all the wars before. You don't really hear the bad stuff, or when you're a kid. So I was just immediately I was like, how does anybody hate America
enough to do what they did?
Right. That's and so it made no sense to me. And
did you make the decision
that day in class? He told me that they hated America.
I didn't remember that part of the story.
Yeah, when the teacher said that they hated America, they hated Americans, I was like, oh, well, that's sign me up. Where's the closest let's go.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like a kid of mine.
Yeah.
Real
just think things through, right?
We're not gonna
screw it. Let's go. Full gas. And that's what it was. But I knew, and I remember you and Mom were like, you go and fight those.
Here's what I told you when you told me you were going to join.
When I was 12, though.
Yeah, you were 12, and you said you're going to join the Marine Corps.
I don't think it was the Marines then. Because remember when I was 14, I tried to get information from the Army when I was 15 online, and I put in my birthday, put in all this information to get.
Yeah.
And they sent a letter. There was no emails, or if there was, we didn't. That's not how we communicated.
Well, there were, but there was still mail. We did a lot of mail.
So I remember Mom getting the letter, or it said Taylor Kolls, but it had the U.S. Army, on the envelope, and.
I just remember telling you, we'll talk about it when you're 18.
Right. I think you and Mom both kind of pushed it away and been your dream, let him live his dream, let him think it's, all this and that. And then every year I got older, we would start talking about college.
And then we'd argue with you.
Right. Oh, yeah. Huge arguments.
Well, we didn't want you to,
of course, I understand
you
why.
wanted to go into the Marine Corps.
Correct. Well, when the arguments really started happening,
was the Marine Corps. Yeah. Because you said to me, because Mom and I were like, well, if he wants to do that, maybe we can push him toward computer,
Air Force, the Sheriff Force,
or he could be a mechanic in the Marine Corps.
How about you do the National Guard or something like that?
Well, as parents,
I know, I get it. I have 2 children now, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I put my parents through that.
We're not going to pat you on the head and go, go get killed.
Right.
So when it became the Marine Corps, that's when we started to get into arguments about it.
Yeah.
And you said, no, I don't want to do any of that. I want to go kick down doors.
Right.
And kill the enemy.
Yes.
Which I was like, damn.
Right. Well,
okay, I thought for sure you might have been a
serial killer or something?
The mailman's kid or something. Yeah. I was like, I didn't understand that at all.
Well, yeah.
To be honest with you, I mean, you don't raise your kid.
But you always known ever since that I was super patriotic as a kid.
Yeah. No, right? Well, we kind of raised you to be. We weren't over the top patriotic, but we were your typical
proud
of the USA.
Right.
You were more than we were.
Very patriotic,
yeah.
So I don't.
That's true.
I think it became more real to you and Mom, and once I started getting older and we started talking about colleges and stuff, and you kept on thinking,
I thought you were never going to do it.
Yeah, hey, how about Idaho, or get them out west or something, outside.
We were trying to avoid anything that had to do with Iraq or Afghanistan and the Marine Corps.
Right. Well, what's funny too is now that you say that, and we've now talked about college and whatnot in a sense, but when we graduate high school, back in the day, which is not 2008, but it's 20
years ago.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah. But all the seniors got a special not leaflet, but in the Hudson newspaper, they would have that special fold.
It was like an insert.
Insert with all the seniors, and it was like who you look up to, where are you going, what are you gonna do in life. And I remember going into the office to turn in my sheet of paper for that, and the secretary was like, "Where are you gonna go to school?" And I said, "The University of Kabul." And she was like, "Oh, what do you mean Kabul? Like, what are you going to be studying?" And I was like, "I joined the Marines. I'm going to Afghanistan."
Yeah, you were going to Afghanistan.
Yeah. And that's where I wanted to go. Right? I didn't want anything to do with Iraq. To me, it all came down to 9/11, and even then, I knew Iraq wasn't what.
Yeah, you said to me too one time. I don't know, drinking beers by the campfire or something. Listen, Dad, they're going to want to come here to kill you, Mom, and Madison, your sister. Right. I'm going to go over there and kill them first. And at that point, I kind of went, all right, he's all in. There ain't nothing I can do.
Right.
now I got to get behind it 100%, and Mom and I did. Then you go off to boot camp, right?
Right. But you got to start with what we agreed to.
What did we agree to?
Well,
I don't even remember.
So we all kind of came to the agreement that I would join as a reservist.
No, I don't remember.
And then
that.
I would go to college as a reservist in the Marine Corps.
And then
if I wanted to continue after college, I at least could go into the Marines as an officer.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, well, wait until I tell you the story. You're going to remember, because Mom wouldn't come into my swearing in. Remember when I took the oath after I signed my contract?
I thought she was on some business trip.
I don't know what. She wasn't there. You were there. I don't know where. I don't think Mom wanted to. Because she was remember. Not. She was.
Mom didn't want. No.
Right. She wanted nothing to do.
She didn't want her boy going off and getting killed.
Right.
I did go to your swearing in, but I didn't realize. So what happened with that? I don't even remember this part.
Okay, so this is kind of back. It's kind of hilarious, but when you go to enlist in the military, at least when I did it back in 2007.
Yeah.
One of the, you do all that physical stuff, right? And then they make sure you're good to go. And then they, pull you into a room and you're just one-on-one with another, he's a Marine at the time, but he's working on a computer.
Right.
And they literally pull up your contract. And you're 18 years old, and they're like, "Does this look good?" And I'm like, "You're the one that wrote it.
You tell me.
Yeah, you tell me. I don't know. I'm just signing the dots, right?" So he looks, and first of all, this is hilarious. And I don't know if you know this or Mom.
Probably not.
But I was sitting one-on-one with this Marine, and he pulls up my contract, and he looks at my name, and he's like, "Kolls?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Is your mother Rebecca and your dad Jay?" And I was like, "Yeah, they are. That's my mom and dad." And he swivels his chair, because he was kind of just giving me the littlest amount of time that he has to give me just to get through it, right? So I'm kind of sitting over here where this chair is, and he's kind of sitting here on his computer. And he's like, yeah, doing the look around, not really giving me the full attention.
He didn't care.
And when I said yes, Rebecca, Jay, Cole, or my parents, he turns like this. And he was like, then turns to me, looks right at me, and was like, "What the F are you joining the Marine Corps for?" And then I was like, "Oh boy." I was like, "That's what, should I not? Should I?"
I think what he meant.
I know what he meant. Yeah. But anyways, that contract, we're ripping down it 3 pages, whatever. And he had it on this computer screen. Yeah. And it got to the part where it was like active duty reservist type deal. And it was checked reservist. I don't remember any of that. I was like, scroll back up. And he's like, "Okay."
You changed it?
He was like, "Scroll back up." And I scrolled back up, and I was like, switch it to active duty. And he's like, "What, you want to do that now? You're not going to
talk to Mom and Dad?"
I didn't know. So I agreed to you and Mom saying I'd go reservist, go to college. And then if I still wanted to do it, then I'd at least be an officer and Yeah. And while we were the day I signed my contract, I looked at him. I was like, "Switch it to active duty." And he's like, "You sure you want to do that?" I was like, "Yeah."
You little SOB.
So the first thing I said to you,
I don't remember.
So he checks it to active. He prints it all out.
Yeah.
And then it's hilarious because they print it out and then you don't sign it right there. They take you into this back room.
Yeah.
And there was like 4 or 5 other people, different branches, wasn't in the same room with me.
Yeah.
Right. But they were in, signing up for the Air Force, Coast Guard, whatever.
Sure.
And they lay our contracts in front of us over like a table, and we're standing there like no big deal. They all give us pens, and
signing your life away.
Some other guy comes in and was like, "See that paper?" And he starts screaming right away. And you're like, "Oh my God, I'm not even in this thing yet." But now I know what they're doing. Right. They don't want you to have second. They want you to hurry up and sign it, because the more you think about it, the more you're, civilian life seems pretty good.
Yeah.
So they get in there, and because they tell you, "Stand straight," and you're like, "Shit, already?" And they're like, "Bend over," and you have to bend over, and they're like, "Sign it," and you sign it, and they whip it away, and I'm like, "Well, that's done."
You never told me.
I was like, "I'm going."
I don't recall you telling me any of this.
Yeah.
But if you did, I don't doubt you. But
so then you sign the contract, and then they bring you out to the room with the American flags and everything. It looks great.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's where you actually swear in. So you actually already. When I swore in, I had already signed my contract. Mm-hmm. But I remember swearing in, and you were sitting in the bleachers or whatever, behind.
Yeah.
And then I remember swearing in. And the whole time I was swearing in, I was like, "They're going to kill me." Because I switched it from reservist to active. And I remember the first thing after I swore in, I turned around and I was like, "Mom's going to kill me." And you're like, "What happened?" And I was like, "I am not going reservist. I switched it to active duty. I leave for boot camp in like 2 months."
I don't remember.
And you were like, "Oh my God." And you just put your hands right in your head. And I was like, well, too late, suckers. I'm out of here.
I completely forgot that part of the story.
Yeah.
And I would have been worried Mom was going to kill you. If ISIS and Al Qaeda weren't going to get you, Mom was going to get you.
Yeah,
well, we just didn't
about
want
to get on the no-flight list.
Yeah, we didn't want you to, as parents, we didn't want you to go. You're looking at an 17, 18-year-old kid, and you're like, this isn't a video game. You're gonna.
But we all know it's not a video game.
Yeah, but we had relatives who'd served. I'd talked to veterans. I'd interviewed people. I knew going to kill people and having your buddies killed was forever going to change your life.
Sure. Well, even if you don't kill or see, or it
forever
it
changes.
Still changes your life.
Correct. But and we're going to get into your combat tour, and this is why Mom and I were concerned.
Sure.
That's a really funny story, by the way.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
I don't remember that one at all.
But
so Mom and I were trying to do the end run. We get you into the reservists.
Well, if you remember, you and Mom would send me away as a high schooler to colleges.
Oh yeah. I remember,
to party.
Yeah.
And they were like, let him go taste some.
Let him go party.
Let him go party. Then he'll definitely not want to. These people don't know. I'm at the party being like, let's go, because I'm leaving. I was living my life.
Well, I'm not going to make any mistake about it as we talk.
Right. Mom, I know what you were doing.
Mom and I, we were trying to protect our kids.
Sure.
And we fully supported you once you were in.
No, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And to this day we do. But it was pretty funny, the gimnastics that went on. Yeah. So you go to boot camp, which in and of itself, we could spend a half hour on boot camp, which I want to get more into the combat stuff. Because, again, veterans, I'm going to tell you this right now, Taylor. Veterans need to tell their stories. And the stories need to be recorded.
Yeah.
And they need to be told.
Sure.
They do.
Yeah, for sure.
And you need to tell your story.
Yeah.
And it needs to be told. And I've wanted to do this interview for a long time. And this is in honor of all veterans. And the one I'm most proud of, because the general public, I think, has an appreciation, but not a full understanding.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
But
in a way, that's why a lot of us do it.
Right.
So that we know that they don't really know, but we don't want you to really know.
Well, that's where I understand that, but I think personally, veterans need to talk about it.
Right.
The stories need to be recorded,
Sure.
And the veterans who did it need to tell that story.
Yeah.
Because your story, in my opinion, really incredible.
Yeah.
Just like many other vets.
Yeah.
Many other vets.
Yeah.
And I think the boot camp stuff was crazy. Going out and seeing you at boot camp graduation and seeing those drill sergeants.
Yeah.
The drill sergeants that you see on TV and the movies, folks. Legit.
Yeah.
Those guys scared me more than any other human being has ever scared me. And that was supposed to be a good day when you were graduating.
Right.
So they were in a good mood, those guys.
Yeah.
And they still had the raspy voice.
That frog. I mean, they ruined their. Oh yeah, they talk like that forever.
I'm like, this is
might as well smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Right, exactly.
It's unreal.
Like,
and then what's
me.
crazy is like I don't know if it's what it is or not as far as but every time a drill instructor graduates a class, they get a little break. And then they'll come back, and then when they start screaming again, they lose their voice.
I don't doubt.
Again, and then they'll be like, and you're like, sure, yes, sir. You don't even know what they're saying. They're just screaming, and nothing's coming out of their mouth.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you tell me that when you were in boot camp, you were in San Diego? So didn't you train, not with, but you trained alongside some SEALs, Navy SEALs?
No.
I thought you, not with them, but you saw what they did.
Stuff. No. I never saw Navy SEAls until I went to Afghanistan.
Oh, I thought you saw them.
And then we did some things with Navy SEALs.
Maybe that's it. We'll
like tracking a drug lord or something, and then we do all the work, and then they came in and was like, give us all the information.
They're SEAls.
I know.
So, all right, so we'll skip through boot camp, which is...
Folks, I mean, that was the best part. Well, I shouldn't say that, but that was the easiest part of the Marine Corps.
Well... When you describe boot camp to me,
right,
for 13 weeks and what you had to do for the Crucible, which is when you graduate.
I mean, that stuff's wild. Yeah.
Wild.
In itself. Yeah.
It's beyond wild.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's not for everybody. It's not. You should see, the first week of boot camp, it's hilarious.
Well,
how many people think it's a video game, right? And then, and then the next thing they know, they're,
do this for me. Do this for me.
Go talk
Sorry to interrupt you, but
something.
to do this, for the listeners,
yeah,
Reavers and Robbie are sitting in here.
Sure.
Just tell them what the Crucible is in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Well, it's like
so you go through 13 weeks, and you're not a Marine yet.
No.
You're not a Marine yet until you finish the Crucible. Am I right?
Yes.
What do you got to do for the Crucible?
Well, it's like
what do you got to do? This is nuts to me.
Well, I mean, it's
how
a
the hell
bunch
you
of
get
stuff.
out of Crucible is beyond me.
I don't. Yeah. It was bad. But
Well,
I mean, it was.
tell them what you did.
So, like, a lot of it is just not sleeping, right?
For
you don't
days.
sleep
For
really.
days.
Yeah, and even if you do, it's so funny because in the Marines, I always had a saying. We all had a saying: if it ain't raining, you're not training. Right, because I was stationed in Hawaii, stationed in California. Hardly rains, right? But the second we have to go out in the field and live in the, where
the Crucible?
outside Crucible, any other thing, outside of boot camp, it rains. So usually when you're out in the mountains, it's raining. So it was just awful. So it's cold. Everyone thinks, oh, San Diego, whatever.
Well,
it's
you're
like
in the
no,
mountains.
you're in the mountains. It's
So it's cold and
you're not
damp.
wearing like sweatshirts or nothing,
Nope.
right? You're just wearing your
Camel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But tell them what you had to do for 3 days.
It's like
It's nuts.
I mean, they put you through, and I can't even remember everything through the Crucible that we did because it's mostly a blur. I don't remember after finishing the Crucible, and I was like,
'Cause you didn't have any
day
sleep.
is it? Yeah, we were like, was it that long?
You told me, I do remember this, that they would simulate battle.
Yeah.
And obviously
So,
you knew
like,
it wasn't real bullets flying.
No, they were
but-
real bullets.
Oh, they were? I thought it
Yeah.
was the fake stuff.
No,
So that you get acclimated to
Yeah.
the chaos.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So even in the Crucible, you guys were launching.
Yeah. Well, we weren't doing it, but somebody else
somebody was
or
at
something.
you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I can't.
I just
mean,
thought
that was like 15 years ago.
15 years ago. But it's such. I had no idea what the Crucible was.
No.
And here's the kicker. Tell them, okay, so you get through the Crucible, which was.
And you're all, but mind you,
Nuts.
Your back is full of stuff,
Right.
And you're constantly hiking up and down the mountain. It's
No
not
sleep,
like you can no sleep,
getting shot at the whole 9
right. You're
yards.
walking, you're hopping through the mountains, and
You get through the Crucible.
yeah.
And then you told me, if I remember this correctly, the Eagle Globe and Anchor.
Yeah.
Right, the pin.
You get it after you come down from the mountain.
After you finish the
Yep.
Crucible, and
Yep.
now you're about to become a Marine
Yep.
because you're not a Marine until,
You come down.
and then they do
And
what?
then they have a whole ceremony, and you're in a formation, and they give you the Eagle Globe and Anchor pin,
Right.
and then that dignifies that you're now a United States Marine. So, like, even from the
But
second
didn't
you
they
get that
pin
pin,
that on you?
no, not yet. They don't. That's in the fleet. That's when I got to the fleet.
Okay.
That's when you pick up rank.
Okay. So
yeah.
but there are
They
dudes,
give it to you in your hand, and you close whatever, and then you go back to your thing.
and you're thinking I'm a Marine.
Yeah, and you're a Marine. Like the second you get that, you then they break you, and then you go to chow. You go to lunch.
Yeah.
And it's not even lunch. It's just when you get done with the Crucible, they have this whole thing for you.
And the Crucible is like 54 hours straight, isn't it?
Yeah, something like
72
that.
hours straight?
Yeah. You're up there for a while, and it's like you're coming down with the like steep mountain.
But there's some dudes who go through 13 weeks of boot camp,
correct, and then don't
and
make
can't
it through
get
the
through the
Crucible.
Crucible.
Right.
And they're not Marines.
No.
And they just did 13 weeks of hell.
You know what the shitty part about that is then they have to start all
over again.
Right. I knew a guy that did that. It happened to him.
Oh,
in my
man.
the School of Infantry, one of my classmates, if you want to call it that, fellow Marines, he had to go through boot camp twice because he got to the top of the mountain at the Crucible and like had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just give him a break?
No, they made him restart.
After a heart attack?
Dude, it's the Marine Corps. Like, you had a heart attack? Climbing a mountain? Do it again. Not good enough. If you're not dying, you didn't give it your all. You got to start all over.
There's a reason it's the tip of the spear.
I remember
There's a reason.
I screwed up my knee so bad that I could not walk.
At boot camp?
No, this was a School of Infantry.
Okay.
I could not walk. It was so bad.
And they didn't care?
No, they cared. But if I went to medical, I would have to start over SOI.
Oh, wow.
I'd have to start it all over again.
You were going to do that?
And I was like, no.
Drop that one.
Yeah.
We didn't get that one on the air, did we?
No.
Did we stop? Okay,
No,
good. Thank you.
I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So I remember like humping through the mountains, carrying a machine gun, and I was like hobbling around.
On one leg?
On one leg.
Because you're not.
And I was dead last on everybody, just like, wait up. But I was not. I wasn't doing, because at the School of Infantry, you have to do every week or so, You do it's like a 15K hike, right? And then a 20K hike, and then I was not doing that all over again.
Right, I hear you.
You know, so I was like, I'm going to crawl up this mountain, roll down it,
you're nuts,
and get through it.
So you get through the School of Infantry and all that. When this part made my toes curl.
What's that? What part?
When they pinned you.
Well, that's different.
When do they pin you?
That's so like
This is nuts to me. They take that Eagle Globe and Anchor pin.
No, it's not the Eagle Globe and Anchor.
What's the one that they pin on you?
It's the chevron, the ranks. The pin that tells other people what your rank is.
So private first class, Lance Corporal, whatever.
Yep, you got it.
So when did they pin that into your chest?
So this is what's crazy.
Into your chest.
I remember finishing boot camp, and I was like, I'm a Marine. I don't have to put up with this garbage anymore. Right? I'm not a scumbag anymore, right?
Yeah, right.
And then I get to the School of Infantry. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm a scumbag
again. Yeah.
Right? And
the reason you're a scumbag, so the viewers and listeners understand, is they want you to come back alive.
Well, yeah, it's all everything has a purpose.
Yeah, they want you to come back. They want you to kill the other guy.
Yeah, right. But and then I get out of the School of Infantry. And then, which was wild because I was thinking I was going to North Carolina or California. Like that's because after the School of Infantry, like I said, School of Infantry, you do all these crazy hikes up these mountains. And I was a machine gunner, so I was in the machine gunning class of that School of Infantry. And so we had to carry the machine guns, which are
huge,
big boys.
Were those the 50 cal?
Yeah. Now we take them apart, so they're 3 different pieces.
Yeah, you're not carrying what's up on the turret. I understand that.
Well, technically we are.
But not in one piece, are you?
No, you got the barrels, and then you got the tripod, and then you got the receiver.
But everything that people see in those turrets, you had to lug.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, like we had it the hardest because we had to carry the biggest equipment.
What level were you? Were you expert marksman? What do you get?
Well, it's like for machine gunning, there isn't really.
But as a Marine, aren't you?
Yeah,
trained
you do that at boot camp. You got to get rifle qualified, and everyone does.
You're just expert marksman. Is that what it's considered?
Sharpshooter, and yes,
So you could hit something. You could hit something at a distance.
Yeah. I mean, most people, it's great to say that you can and everything, but I mean, give me. Not even a day with somebody.
That could be one.
And you could
be one.
Yeah.
So when do you get pinned?
So I get pinned when I get to the fleet. So I get.
How'd that go down?
Everybody. So it's a tradition. It happens to everybody, but none of us know it's a tradition.
Right.
So we all get to the fleet, right? So I'm saying, okay, boot camp. I'm not a.
You're not a grunt anymore. No grunt.
Well, grunt, but because I was a grunt in the Marines, which is a whole different thing we can talk about later. But it's the scum.
This is fascinating.
I was going through boot camp. I was like, it's going to be easier at SOI. SOI was worse. I was like, this is garbage, right? I thought I was supposed to be a Marine. Not treat me like a Marine, And then I get to the fleet, and then I'm like, all right. Here we are. We're Marines. Now it's going to be nice. Not easy, right? But like no one's going to be screaming at you. All that BS is done. Mm-hmm. That first year in the fleet is by far the worst year of my life. Why? Because the drill instructors had rules. You can't touch you. You can't yell at, whatever. They have parameters, right? No, not the 18, 19, 20-year-old kid coming back from Iraq that just sees my goofy ass arrive from SOI thinking I'm a Marine? Who do you think he's waking up at 3 a.m.? Me. And there are no rules,
I kind of like that.
Oh, it was great.
It's kind of like he's saying to you.
You're right. They're getting us ready
till you've been to Iraq or Afghanistan you ain't nothing.
A Marine.
You ain't nothing.
So we're all like, God, it never ends. This is hell.
This is why Marines always say, once a Marine, always a Marine, never retired Marine.
Right.
To become a Marine is much different than the other branches.
Like,
it's just different.
It's 13 weeks of boot camp, longest of any
SOI
branch.
Yeah. And so you don't know this pinning's coming. You told me the story. My toes curled.
So when you get to the fleet, like you're a private first class, right? Nothing. Mm-hmm. And then usually 30 days in the fleet, you just automatically pick up Lance Corporal.
Yeah.
And so they have these ceremonies, right? They're whatever.
So this is when you go from private first class to Lance Corporal. Okay.
Right? And it's a pin. Like if anybody knows what a pin with a turtle backing is,
we
right?
all know.
I know, but you're old, so like that's what you guys wore to school to be hip.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't wear anything like that to be him.
Yeah,
You're out of your mind.
Whatever, your old flowers or something back in the 60s.
You're so nuts. You're nuts. But anyhow,
so
yeah, I know what those are. Yeah.
It's a pin,
Right.
and they have those backings. So you put it through your shirt, and you put the backings on, so that you're not getting stabbed by the
pin.
By the pin.
Yeah.
So we all get pinned, and we're all like, cool, we're now Lance Corporals. And then we break formation after getting pinned, and everybody that came back from Iraq was like, got those turtlebacks on? And I'm like, yeah, I got these turtlebacks. Like, what do you got to take those off. It's like, what are you talking about? You got to take those off. It's like, okay, because that's what they said. So you take the turtlebacks off.
Yeah.
Take the turtlebacks off. And then they like pull me into a room, and I was like, what is going on here, boys? And next thing I know, wham, wham, I'm just getting smashed.
They're punching the
pin
right
into my
your
collarbone,
chest.
right into the chest. And it's a pin, so it's not like, it hurt like yeah. But you just sit there and you're like, God, I wish I could go back to boot camp. But I mean, it's wild.
I mean, just little stories like that.
Yeah,
blew
which
my
now,
mind.
now that's a no-no in the Marine Corps.
Oh, they don't do it anymore?
Oh, no, that's what I got in trouble for.
Well, I remember you got in trouble for pinning a guy.
Yes.
But I didn't know they said, okay, no more.
That's why I got in trouble.
Oh, okay.
But
gotcha.
like you didn't parade it around.
No, I remember.
That's why they took me into a room.
Yeah, you told me it was kind of a clandestine.
But it happened to you. It happened to them. It happened to them before. So shut your mouth.
It was pretty much a Marine Corps thing.
Now the problem with the generation after me, they got pinned and just cried to their moms. Literally called their moms.
How many times did you get punched?
I don't know. You had to leave the rule was like the turtlebacks had to be off for 24 hours.
Oh man!
And anybody that knew that
they could just walk up.
Anybody that knew, I had Marines I didn't even know.
They could just bop you with the pin.
Boom! And I was like, geez,
that had to hurt so bad.
So bad.
Well,
the worst was when it would hit your collarbone. Right. At least with the chest, you had some meat.
Oh man! You know what? I'm already out.
Yeah,
I'm already out. I'm so amazed at what you.
That's not even.
That's not. We haven't gotten to the combat yet.
That's not even combat. That's just a drunken night in the barracks. We didn't even leave base. We, so
drunken night in the barracks. Listen,
we would get paid so little because we had. But
don't get me started on what you got paid.
The weekends though, we would all like my first year in the fleet. Every weekend, I'm getting a hotel out of town.
Right?
Why? I don't know. I'll sit in it all day. How come? What? Because if I was in my barracks room,
I'm gonna get
shower, burning hot, jumping jacks. You might get duct taped in between two mattresses. I don't know. Like these guys, you would think you'd come home from a tour in Iraq and you want to go out and no, they stayed in their rooms. They would come out and they looked for all of us.
Yeah.
So second Friday happened. I was like, taxi cab. They didn't have Uber then. If they did, I would have had Uber sitting right outside the formation.
All right, so I gotta move it along because all this is pretty good.
No,
I want to get to combat. So let's fast forward, and you call me.
Yeah. Afghanistan.
On a satellite phone from Afghanistan. And you told me what was going to happen.
Yeah.
That you were going to go into combat. You're going to go into the Battle of Marjah, right?
Yeah.
But tell me, what was it like? Describe for the listener or anybody who might be watching the podcast, describe what it was like when you're flying in on those choppers.
Yeah.
Well, and you're going to be dropped in behind. You're going to be dropped into the combat zone.
Correct.
What was that like getting off that chopper? And how did it happen? Middle of the night? What went on?
It was, so do you want me to build it up? So like the Battle of Marjah was the last like stronghold that the Taliban held in, and it was a city. It had like 100,000 people, I think, or something like that in there.
In Helmand Province. Which is where all the action was at the time.
At that time, yeah. And
so I felt great that my kid was in the middle of it. I thought that was just terrific.
Well, that's where every Marine wants to be.
Yeah, well, the parents don't.
I know. But we so we knew like Marja was in the talks. Like there was always rumors about it because in the Marine Corps, especially when you're deployed and you're infantryman, you want to go where the action is. So everybody's always like, "Oh, come on." And so we kept on hearing about Marja, and it was a big deal, and nothing was too talked about much because we were nobodies, right? We weren't making the decisions, and we didn't know. We knew that the invasion was going to happen. We didn't know when. We didn't know who was going to be a part of it or anything like that. And then 1 week or like one day they kind of told us like we were chosen to go.
To Marja?
It was crazy because what people don't know is like Marja kicked off on like February, like whatever, 10th or something.
It was February 10th.
Yeah. So like me and 135 other Marines went 5 days earlier than everybody else. And we were basically coming in from the other side of the city to kind of draw the Taliban.
You didn't know it, but the Taliban was coming for you first.
Yeah, well, apparently, and I don't know, you'd have to look this up. I'm not sure. I don't even know if you could, but we heard that, they dropped leaflets outside this, in the city saying like, hey, get out.
Get out. Yeah,
because that was the one time in Afghanistan where there was no rules of engagement.
Right.
It was like, hey, guys, if it's...
So is that choppers bringing you in?
Yeah.
Was it middle of the night?
No, we loaded up in the middle of the night. So the night before, so we get told that when I called you, they told us like, hey, it's happening. Call your family now. You're not going to be able to get online or use a telephone for we don't know how long. Because that whole week prior, we were simulating what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, right? So we couldn't talk to anybody. So that's when I told you, or I called you, and you knew because with you being in the media, you knew something about Marja.
I knew.
You tell any other parent or even other people, they don't know what Marja is.
No.
But you knew some like large offensive was going to happen. So I remember calling you, and I was just like, "Yeah, Dad, it's going to happen."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What's it?" And I'm like, "It," because we couldn't talk about it.
Right.
And you're like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Yeah." So this is going to be like this is my last call.
I remember hanging up the phone, thinking, "Well, it could be the last time I ever talked to him."
Right.
Because I knew you were going into a hot spot combat zone.
Yeah. Well, then what's wild is like they gave us this.
When you tell me about what was it like though? I want to hear.
Well, yeah, I'm building up to it because like the night before we went, they flew in steaks.
Oh, they were going to feed you good.
So they were like, yeah, we're going to land here. It's full of landmines. We're like, well, why don't we freaking fly into a different field? Like why are we landed in this field? And they're like, oh yeah, and then we're going to have these bridges. We're going to take out, this whole game plan, right? And we were like, whatever. And then the night before it all happened, they delivered us steaks. And we're like, me and my buddy looked at each other like, oh boy.
Last meal.
This is going to be rough, And like my bag.
They're going to feed you a steak before you get executed.
Helmand, Afghanistan, and I'm eating better than 90% of Americans at home.
They're thinking it could be your last meal.
Yeah, they knew what was happening. Yeah. So like me and my buddies, we were like, shoot, this is going to be, because the night before we didn't really sleep. And all I did was slept on a cardboard box on the ground because the ground was so cold. Yeah. And
so you hop off this chopper at 3 in the morning. What?
Yeah, so we loaded the helicopter at like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and it was like my pack. Right, we usually had like a little day pack when we went on regular patrols with like water, food, maybe some extra ammo. This mission that we went on was full, like the full Ilby pack, the big big one, right? But no food. The only water we had was like what was on my back. That Ilby, that big backpack, was filled with nothing but 50 cal
weapon and ammunition. Yeah,
that was it. Because we were humping 50 cal.
I was going to say, what's on your back? 60 pounds, 80 pounds?
Oh no, it had to. 60 pounds probably would have been my regular, close to my regular. I'll tell you this: it took 3 guys to pull me up.
Wow! After you jumped out of the chopper.
Loading it, getting in the helicopter, getting off the helicopter, getting up from the helicopter. Wow. We all had to help each other up.
So as they land this chopper and you guys get off, now you know you're going to be in combat at some point.
That was it.
And you know that field that you're dropped off in is full of mines?
Landmines, yeah.
And it's the middle of the night.
Yeah, what are you going to do? I don't know. We just all got off, and it was crazy because we had this genius idea. Like, it was night vision, Call of Duty, video game-esque type stuff. Right, night vision, the whole 9 yards, and we thought we were so savvy. We were like, guess what? We're gonna unload. We're gonna put these little infrared flashing dots. So if we get lost, put your night vision on, and then you can find your team leader because your team leader will have because the helicopter's in, you're out, they're gone.
They're gone,
and you're in the middle of nowhere, and it's cool. You're like, oh my, where are we? Where is everybody? And then all of a sudden, right? And then so I can't find my guys. Like, I can't find my platoon. And I'm running around, I'm asking this guy, and he's like, no, we're snipers. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm running over here. And then it hit me. I'm like,
we're snipers, get away from us.
I was like, I'm an idiot. Put on my night vision. I'll be able to see where my team leader is because he has the infrared blinking dot, right?
Didn't work?
put my night vision on. Apparently, every other team leader on the mission had the same idea because all I could see was blinking lights. It almost confused me more. I was like, oh, shoot, we got Marines behind us, around. I'm like,
well, at least you had Marines around you, not the Taliban at that time.
And it was so cold. It was like 3 degrees.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And I remember
running
through this field, and then we take like a little break. And I turned to this Marine, my buddy next to me, and I said something to him, and he looked at me and was like, what? And I was like, do we know where we're going? Or whatever it was. And he's like, bro, you just spoke nothing but gibberish.
Oh,
that's how cold. I was like, it's
freezing.
That, I'm sure that, and
adrenaline.
Bro, yeah, we're told we're going into the hottest place in Afghanistan, and we're there, and it's nighttime. And
for the sake of time, I'm going to leap forward to the Battle of Marjah then.
Yeah.
Because NATO, that was a NATO thing.
Yeah.
And so it was U.S., the Brits, Canada, I don't know who else.
I didn't work with any of them.
But it was, you guys weren't but it was a NATO operation.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
but you were with
my guys. I never ran into any of them.
What you told me, now tell me if I remember this correctly. Didn't you get credit from your sergeant for firing the first round of the Battle of Marjah?
We didn't technically, it's not
something
written anywhere, but we know
you were the lead guys in.
Well, yeah, we were the first ones. We were the first 100. So basically, we were
fire.
Our when we landed in the helicopter, got off, and the sun came up. We were. We had a mission to take over this. There was 5 roads that were coming out of Marja, 5 of them, and they all intersected at this one market. And it was our mission to take this market over and close off those roads because that was where the Taliban were running from.
Yeah.
So we busted through all that and we cleared the market and then took over the market. But we were, the first ones there. And then so we set up a front line of this market, and you could see people getting out of the city. They
knew it was coming. Yeah.
Man, women, children, you could see the fathers grabbing their children and throwing them into carts, and they were getting, because they knew we were there. And we set up all these checkpoints and stuff. So if any vehicle coming down any of those roads, we were going to light up or do our thing. And this vehicle
you can say light up on the show, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but we stop them, light them up. It all depended on how they reacted to what the SOPs were to that situation. So the first vehicle, poor guy trying to get out of town, right, was just ripping down the road that we had cut off, coming right towards us. He might not have known that we were there, or maybe he was they know I'm leaving. But to us, that's a threat. It's a vehicle bomb, And so because we were the machine gunners there, we were the heavy guns, they, whoever was in charge of that operation told us to, hey, fire some warning shots at that vehicle
with a 50 cal.
Well, originally it was going to be a 50 cal.
Oh man!
So I had a 249 saw, a smaller machine gun, 5.56 rounds, like a 22 machine gun basically. Yeah. And my buddy was on the 50 cal, and they told him to shoot at the vehicle to let, and he I don't know what happened. He didn't want to shoot.
Wow.
So I got up
and fired
and just ran down the gun line
and fired,
and then just whipped down in the prone with my saw and just fired a burst of 30 rounds at the vehicle, and he slammed on his brakes and whipped out. And then everybody was like, holy shit, Kolls. Wow. And I was like, what? You just fired the first shots. And I was like, I did. I was like, hell yeah. Put it down in the books. I can die now. I'm good. I'll be remembered forever now.
Well, yeah. Well, and good for you. I mean, if you're ordered to fire, you got to fire.
Well, it was, I was good. It was good on me because I wasn't instructed to shoot. I noticed he wasn't going to do it.
So you did it.
So my lieutenant looked at me and was like, nice job, Kolls. I was like, yeah.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Tell them, I do want people to hear the story. The reality of some of what I want to talk about is you had to kill some people.
Yeah.
And not a lot of veterans talk about that. But we're going to today because it's a part of war and it's part of why we should appreciate veterans.
Yeah.
Describe the situation where you were asked to take some guys out and you did your duty.
I mean, so it's hard to say in certain situations who shot who or whatever.
Right. Well, those firefights you don't know.
Yeah, no, right. And some of these firefights were, hours long.
Right.
So, I mean, it was like so the Taliban would always attack at dusk with the sun at their backs. So they would always attack from the west. And that's because if we looked out, like we couldn't see them because the sun would be. But every single night that we took that village, ever since we took that, it's funny because I remember at the School of Infantry learning how to dig fighting holes, and we would always bitch about it. We're like, it's 20, I was gonna say 20. It's 2008. What are we learning? This isn't World War II. We don't fight from dog holes, and and then we get to Marja and we hold up this market and they're like, dig your fighting holes. And I was like, shit, they weren't lying.
Right.
So we would, dig in and then we use that as like a line. And every night sun was coming down. It would always start with one little pop shot. You're like, tink.
Yeah.
You'd hear it and you're like, oh boys, here we go. Like it's coming. And then it'd be like, tink, tink, tink. Tink, 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 and then next thing, boom, 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 boom. Now we're literally talking to each other, right? Like it was wild, But,
so now you're in a firefight.
Yeah, you'd be in a firefight, and it's tough because sometimes if you didn't see the person with the gun, you didn't know, and like the buildings they're all mud huts. So they were smart in with the technology that they didn't have, I guess. Like they would, you cut a little hole through that thick, you're not shooting through mud that thick.
Right.
So they would cut little holes through, right? And they would just stick the barrels out and they would just kind of spray.
So they got to be firing randomly, right?
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, they were using AK-47, so you're 200 meters and they're, you're so inaccurate after that.
But how did you, the two that you had to pick off, how'd that come about?
Well, it wasn't.
When the two guys going down the canal.
So we got the order. It just started. It was, I can't remember if it was like the first day or first night, or the second day. But it was basically one of those things where they looked down the line and they were like, if it moves, it dies. That type of thing. Right. And there was just some. We had guys. There
were two guys on the
move in the ditch, and I just took my 249 saw and
that was it.
Let a good burst go down into that ditch. So
the reason, and now it's hard for you to talk about.
Well, it's just wild because you don't talk about. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
well, you don't talk about killing people.
No, because it's not. I don't know. Yeah,
we're not trying to glorify it.
No, right. No,
but the reason why
I can help you, it's not celebratory.
Yeah,
in those ranks. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But here's why I told you at the beginning of the show: veterans need to start telling people to fully appreciate. And as a parent, I knew those guys that you took out would have shot you in a heartbeat.
Well, that's the thing too.
If you remember, I told you. You might not even remember this. I said, Taylor,
shoot them.
I don't care what the rules of engagement are.
That, yeah.
I said, anything points anything at you, you shoot them.
Yeah.
And when you told me the story about having to, you had 3 confirmed kills because, like you said, in a firefight, you could have killed 10 guys in a firefight and not even know it.
Right.
Or maybe one or none.
But
in this particular case, you took out 2 guys because you saw them. It wasn't hand to hand, but you took them out. And then you got your 3rd confirmed kill, which is a crazy story. I want people to understand and appreciate what you guys go through with the sniper.
Oh, yeah. That was, so, I mean, it wasn't technically me. Like, I got the go ahead to take him out.
Right.
But then, before I was going to, the sniper busted through the door whatever, like.
Because the way you told the story to me, the guy was signaling the Taliban.
Yeah, so basically what happened was a sister, platoon hit an IED, and like we could see it.
And it pissed you off is what you told me.
Well, yeah, of course, it always does. But but then immediately we send a quick reaction force, because we got to go get them. And so I was in Cat 1, Section 1. Section 2, my sister section, was the QRF for that day. Mm-hmm. And they were the first ones out, like basically firefighters. If you're on QRF, all your gear is staged. And when you get the word, you run, you get dressed, and you're out. It's quick, right? Quick reaction force. So we see them hit the ID. We didn't even have to get the word or the command, get QRF going. Like we were going. But I was on post at the time, and I could see the whole thing. And I could see my guys in the little, I mean, when I say base, it was 4 walls of dirt in the middle of nowhere. It's not a base.
Well, did you tell me snipers were always shooting into your base all the time?
It was, yeah. I mean, I got a great story about snipe, which is...
Well, tell them the story about when you had to spot for the sniper.
So you get the order. The quick reaction force flies out of the... Right? They're ripping towards the IED blast. And then what they would do is they would start throwing dirt in the air with their shovels.
So when you say they, you're talking about the farmers letting the Taliban know that you guys are coming.
That we're coming.
So you see this guy throwing dirt, you know he's sending...
I radioed in right away. And it was still, to this day, one of the coolest, it's weird to say, but it is what it is. One of the coolest calls I've ever... So I literally radioed in. I'm like, I got a guy throwing dirt in the air. And it came back, and they're like, you got a guy? And I was like, Roger, got him right here. And he's like, 1 shot, 1 kill. Take him out. I was like, hell yeah. And so I get my gun up, my machine, and I had my saw, my 249. So I was gonna not 1 shot kill him. I was gonna let that thing rip.
Because he was going to kill your guy.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah. I mean, you got to have this mindset. If you go over there with the mindset like, oh, he might be good, he might know. They're, for the most part, all bad. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you start messing mentally. You start losing it.
You're going to neutralize the threat.
Right. You get complacent and all that. And then, like, the biggest thing in the Marine Corps was like complacency kills. Mm-hmm. So you always had to be on top. Like, that's why they always stress all these little things. So, we blouse our boots, right? Well, it's common when you're overseas, you don't blouse your boots because you're in overseas. It doesn't matter. You're not. But in our platoon, you still had to blouse your boots. When you're over in Afghanistan, you still had to shave every day. Now, in certain situations, no one cared, right? If you're just getting done with an 8-hour firefight, no one's going to say, shave your face, Marine.
Right.
But you always knew, like, okay, we got some downtime. You got to clean up.
So you get the order. You got this guy. You got him lined up, right?
Yep, get them lined up. And
you're ready to go?
Ready to go. And just like out of a movie, this guy busts down the door. And he was like, hold up, and he was a sniper, and he's probably just dying for a kill, right? And so he comes busting in, and he's got the 50 cal Sasser, like a big boy.
Yeah.
These things are they rip people in half.
I know. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And he gets up there, and he's like, who is he? And I was like, giving him address. He's telling him, this guy,
you're spotting for him.
Basically spotting for him.
Yep.
And then...
boom. That was that. Right?
Yeah, the guy, he's
it was
no longer with us.
Yeah, you told me pretty graphic detail how that went down.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to share that.
It was brutal.
Yeah. Well, they brought the body back to you guys.
They brought the body back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason I say third confirmed kill is because when you spot for a sniper...
technically, I guess.
Technically, yeah. But these are things that people don't... when I think about it, this is my son I'm talking about.
Right.
I didn't raise a kid to go be a killer.
Right.
But thank God the Marine Corps turned him into one.
Right.
Because that's what we need and that's what you got to do. And those stories are incredible. And the one that still gets to me to this day that I definitely want you to tell if I got time is when you thought you were going to die.
I thought for sure. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. I thought we were done.
And you all have these letters in your backpack explaining.
Well, we all had letters.
Right.
Like, we basically wrote these letters before we left for Afghanistan.
To your families.
Yes. To each one of our family members, we had pre-written letters.
And those letters said what? This is about your death, right?
Correct.
This is if you die, this is your last letter home.
Yeah, basically your last words to each family member.
So you're on this particular instance, you all got your letters. You get separated.
We all tell each other.
Right.
We didn't get separated. So what we did from Marja, right, or from that market that I was talking about earlier, we ended up taking like a defensive position at the beginning. Let them come to us. They just kept every night, whatever, they would do their thing. And then eventually we started pushing patrols out into the city. So one day they wanted to do what they call is like a guardian angel. Mm-hmm. And they'll send like 4 people out first. 2 hours before the patrol of 30 or whatever goes out. And basically your job is to go find the high ground, get up there, and you're basically looking for threats and relaying it back to the other, your buddies behind you that are, whatever. So they call us guardian angels. It's whatever. So I go because I'm a machine gunner. So they wanted a heavy gun with them. And then my team leader went, and then we had a corpsman, and then Zach Tutt went.
And the
as a rifleman. Corpsman's a doc.
Is a medic.
Medic, yeah. Navy corpsman.
So there's what,
we
four of you?
called them nurse.
There's 4 of you?
4 of us went out early. So, and it's not like we push out, and it's not like a nice little patrol walk. Like we're kind of
pushing it.
And we find this building on top of, like, it's definitely the highest. It's not on a mountain or a hill, but it's definitely
like
a great vantage point. Yeah, foothill, and it's definitely, you got a great view around. And so we're like, we're gonna go take that thing.
Okay.
And that's what we're gonna do our guardian angel thing out of. So we bust in there, and I don't know what it was, but it had to have been the village shitter. Like, that's where everyone went to shit. And we walk in there, and we have no idea. And we walk in there, and I put one foot down and twist that mud, and I was like, I need a cigarette. I was like, we can't,
This story starts out funny, but when you told it to me as your parent,
it's wild. It's a crazy story, because I thought it was the closest.
I'm glad you couldn't tell me until you got back.
It was the closest that I thought
you're gonna die, because
I tell everybody I would rather get in a firefight with the Taliban every day than ever have to worry about stepping on an IED.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So we take up on this, and this is like outhouse, I'll call it, and just reeks. And I do light up a cigarette. It was some Korean cigarette or something, some garbage thing. It was. That's all we had. It was a Korean cigarette. They were.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
The cartons were $5 a carton.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
$5 a carton.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
So
the 4 of you are holding up,
lighting cigarettes, and but we're basically relaying things back to our,
your post.
And when we were in Afghanistan, we had this thing. I can't remember what it was called, SSP or something like that. But basically, like, the Taliban would talk on walkie-talkies from Walmart. So you just had to, like, find the channel that they were talking on. And you could just, hey, John, our interpreter, would be like, hey, what are they saying? And they'd be like, oh, you guys,
He'd tell you what they're doing.
Telling us what. I mean, we would get in arguments with them.
So I'm guessing you're going to hold up.
So we're sitting there, we're holding up, and then we start getting these reports coming in.
You're intercepting their radio.
We're not, somebody else is, but they're relaying it all to everybody. So we're just sitting there watching.
What are you told?
And they're like, hey, SST reports, Taliban's got, eyes on Marines right by a canal. And I was like, all right, cool. I look out the whatever window, and there's a canal. And I was like, oh, shit. And I tell but I was like, there's canals everywhere. Right.
Yeah.
And then they were like, SST reports that, they got eyes on the Marines, and they're going to attack when the farmers go in. Because it was middle of the day.
Yeah.
And the farmers were all out doing their thing.
Yeah.
And, we get that message. And then we start looking around, all of the farmers picking up their tools, going inside.
So you are by the canal.
And
the farmers are moving in.
Farmers are closing in.
Taliban's got their eyes on some Marines.
And I was like, I literally turned to my buddy and I was like, yo, they're talking about us. And he's like, I don't think they are. I'm like, yeah, no. Like, everything's adding up. And we could see them suckers running through the tree lines. And I was like, yo. And then they're like, yo, SST reports they got him surrounded.
That's you.
That's us. And then we look down the road.
And there's 4 of you.
There's 4 of us.
And you're surrounded.
And then I look down the road. 30 military-age males walking down the road. And
So you got, what, 40 to 4?
I had something like that. I don't know how many around us were all part of the plan.
So at least 30 coming.
Something. Yeah. It was. So rules of engagement again. My team leader, mind you, he's 22 years old, if that 21.
And you were 20.
Yeah. And like, these are the decisions we're making.
Yeah.
And he goes to call it in. And he's like, hey, because we have to let people know what's happening so we can get like confirmation to engage. If they shoot at us, then we're all for, we can go.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes you look at stuff and you're like, so now, let's just go now.
So because
so he calls it in, and he's like
30 plus guys coming after
you, walking right down the road,
and you can't do anything.
We can't shoot them because they don't. We don't have a gun. They're not showing guns,
no
weapons,
guns.
Nothing.
They haven't fired.
No, but
I know
what they're doing.
I know.
We know. And so my team leader calls it in. He's like, hey, we got problems here. We got 30, whatever the number was. It's like, we got guys coming. Like, And they come back and they're like, and mind you, this guy had a radio that not the average farmer would have. Like
talking about the Taliban.
The guy walking down the road had a radio that was military. It was a military radio.
Farmers ain't walking around with that, right?
And he calls it in, and he's like, I got X amount of military age males walking right towards us. And they come back and they're like, well, do they have guns? And we're like, he looks at, before he responds, he looks at all of us. And I look him dead in the face. And I'm like, yeah, they got guns. Tell them now. Because I thought we were, I'm like, yo, I'm not waiting to get shot at.
To die.
Like, I'm going. And one of my, like, I don't want to say, but one of the guys that was with us, like,
lost it.
It wasn't really 3 on 30 or 4 on 30. It was like 3 on 30 because he was in. It was his birthday.
Yeah, you told me about that.
And he was in the corner being like, I'm not dying on my birthday. And I was like, if you're sitting in the corner, you're gonna
die.
And I had to pick up his sector of fire. So now I'm sitting here like this, swerving around, making sure. I'm like, lighting the cigarette with the cigarette that I'm finishing, right? Because like your adrenaline's going. And then there was an explosion.
Well, and you also told me, each of you said, hey, my letters
we all told each other where the letters were.
Where the letters were to back home because you thought you were not coming out alive.
But that was also like pretty standard before everything.
I thought it was just that one instance because you knew.
That instance, though, we were like, yeah, man, it's in that pocket. Remember, So,
So nobody's fired yet.
No one
but
fired.
But they're getting closer?
They're getting close.
How close were you to opening fire?
My finger was on the trigger.
You're ready to go.
I was going to go. Like, I almost... So he actually reported back in that they didn't have guns.
Oh, man.
I know. I was like... But so we never... But then there was an explosion. Mm-hmm. And they all started celebrating.
So they did have guns, didn't they?
I knew they had guns. We all knew they had guns.
So they hear the explosion.
But it's so crazy because, like, if you do something bad, like, you're getting in trouble.
Oh, I know. You'd be court-martialed.
Right.
So the explosion happens. They celebrate.
They start celebrating.
They don't move on you for...
No, they think that... I don't even know what the explosion was, but they either thought we hit an IED or they launched an RPG at us. I don't know.
So they're thinking they got a Marine
They think
somewhere,
they got us, yeah.
And they're going to go get to that location because they was at ambush you guys as you went to help.
Yep.
So without that explosion...
I think we're in it. I think we're in.
Could the 4 of you, well, 3, if one
so.
wasn't picking up a gun,
I think so.
Could the 3 of you handled 40 of them?
Probably.
You could have.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I would have rather taken. We were pretty good at what we did.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But there's 40 of them.
It doesn't matter. Like, give my buddy 50 rounds and 40 of them are dead. Like, that's how it just is what it is.
Yeah. No, I appreciate all of it, and to me, it's a harrowing story because. Hey, I'm not trained as a Marine.
Yeah.
I'm a parent. You were relaying the story to me after you came back, and I was sweating listening to it, thinking if the explosion hadn't happened.
Yeah. I do. I think about that all the time. And what's even more wild, and I don't know if everybody, I'm assuming a lot of vets do, but the older I get, the more I reminisce on it, the more freaked out I get of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because you like look back on your life from when you got out or that particular point and all of the life that you've already lived, plus all the life we still have yet to live.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, we were literally risking it all.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were, but when you're 19, 20, you don't think like that.
You're more idealistic.
Right.
And I, we could go on and on. I suppose it's time to wrap her up, isn't it? I think I went too long, didn't I?
Well, we could keep, I could go all day.
We don't have all day, unfortunately.
I know, but
because you've got, it's not too bad. I should have cut you off on some of the boot camp stuff. Because
yeah.
Some of
what were you doing?
Because some of the other combat stuff.
Yeah,
we didn't even get to. There's a whole bunch more.
Well, the snipers that we want. Here's what's happening. Like, some people need to understand.
It's Veterans Week, so I'm gonna let you get away with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna, because you can cut it out if you want, but we're gonna talk about it.
Okay, what are we talking about?
So this is how crazy, like how normal things, like of getting shot at or right. When you're over there, but you don't realize it, how crazy it is, because it was just like, whatever.
Well, you were shot at every day.
Right. Well, it's for not every day, but like the whole Marja part was pretty crazy.
You said once you went outside the wire, you knew you were going to get shot at. It was going to be a firefight.
Once we were at Marja.
But then you said once we were back at base playing hacky sack, snipers would fire into the...
Well, it wasn't... So the base was like we built outside of Marja.
Yeah.
And so then we started pushing out of that base, right? And so like we would go on a patrol and we'd come back and like we didn't have electricity. We entertained ourselves like by getting really good at hacky sack. Like we were, take us back to the 60s in California, man. Pink Floyd rolling. I don't know. We were so good. Hands in the pockets. Like, you know, like we didn't even care. And then what was wild was after one patrol, we were all sweaty. We all took off our gear.
Yeah.
And we did like a little debrief of the patrol. And then that was over. So we're like, hey guys, you wanna play some hacky sack? And so we all started playing hacky sack, right? And we're just hitting there, just bobbing back and forth, passing it along. And the next thing you know, and we're like, oh shit. Right? And then we just like continue playing hacky sack. Like they get us a stray or a pop off, and the next thing you know, and we're like, oh, that's a sniper. They're like, sniper, everybody, you know, freaking out. And then my buddies and I were just like, god damn it. Yeah. Throw on our flak jackets, like the bulletproof vest, throw on our Kevlars, and then just kept playing hacky sack.
While the sniper
was shooting at us. That's how bad they were. They couldn't even hit a sitting person.
But even a bad shot gets lucky once. Yeah, well. Remember, I hit a hen.
Yeah.
So I remember that story. I didn't remember the part about the throwing your flak jacket.
Yeah, we just threw all of our gear back on and kept playing hacky sack.
Yeah, I forgot about. See, you've told me quite a few stories.
Wait, you should have one of my other buddies in here because then we start talking.
I can't. Maybe next Veterans Week.
Yeah. Next year.
Another one I loved is when you were in a firefight. I think you were telling me that you were firing down on a hut, trying to take the hut or something, and they were running back and forth with kids, using the kids as shields.
Well, yeah, they did that all the time.
They're trying to reload ammo. But anyhow, you guys called in some cover from a jet.
A jet, yeah.
And the jet came in and
dropped a big boy.
Right on.
Dropped a big boy. And he came by.
That's the part I like.
It was so sick. So this guy buzzed our gun line.
Right. So, but tell people how it works. So you're in this fight.
Yeah, we're in a firefight.
And you need the air support.
We need the air support.
So was it a Marine or a Navy fighter?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
So let's say a Navy fighter.
I didn't call it in. Some higher up.
So it comes from an aircraft carrier.
Well, that right? or it came from Leatherneck or something.
Maybe a base.
I don't know.
So anyhow, it doesn't matter.
Right. And the pilots are the coolest people ever on the radios.
But he drops the bomb on it. Then what does he do coming back over your...
So he drops the bomb. Yeah. And the word is he was not supposed to drop that bomb.
Oh, okay.
But he dropped it anyways.
Got it.
And then got relieved the next day.
Really?
That's what I heard. I can't confirm it, but that's what I heard. He from what I heard is like, do you guys really need this? And we were like, yep. And he's like, I'll drop it. And we had no idea. So he dropped it and then... That's what I heard. I don't know. It's scuttlebutt.
What you told me he came back and did this
so
with
this
his
guy
wings.
Dropped, which would make sense if he dropped it and knew he was going to get in trouble. He buzzed the gun line, right?
Which is your gun line.
The gun line that we took over at the market. Mm-hmm. I watched him fly over.
How far?
It looked like just above the trees. It was so cool.
It's a fighter jet.
And he flies by. Didn't even hear it. Whoa. 10 seconds later, I fell on my ass. It was so loud. I was like, oh,
Didn't he do the wing thing?
And then he tipped his wings to us.
To salute you.
Yeah, and then tailed off.
All right.
Did the little salute and bounced out of here.
We got to end it now because we only got 3 minutes left. So that was good. And this is why it's Veterans Week.
Veterans Week.
And we should do a Veterans Month, in my opinion.
God,
I know Veterans Day was yesterday, but we salute you, man. I'm proud of you and love you.
Thank you.
I've always wanted to do this interview.
Yeah.
And I finally got a chance to do it. And I hope people get it why I say, I don't understand. Would the veterans get one freaking day? One freaking day. We'll be back next week, and we need a month or more. We'll be back. That was Taylor Kolls and Marine Tales from a combat zone in Afghanistan. I hope you enjoyed. And Kenny, the serial Jack Pine killer, will be back with us next week. That's all, folks. See ya.
See ya.
And you can bet all